Chosen ones. This video will be private soon. It was meant for only one person. Listen with a quiet heart, because this moment carries a gentle urgency that should not be ignored. And there is a reason your eyes have stopped here today instead of somewhere else. Some things in life appear ordinary on the surface, yet within them lives a quiet whisper from heaven that reaches only the heart that was meant to hear it. This moment carries that kind of whisper, and the message is filled with warmth, love, and a calm assurance that the Lord Jesus Christ has been watching every silent struggle within your life. The words unfolding here are not loud or forceful, yet they carry a weight of divine comfort that may bring peace to a tired heart that has been quietly searching for reassurance. Type 999 if you believe. There are times when heaven gently arranges circumstances so that one soul hears something meant especially for them, and this moment feels very much like that sacred kind of encounter. God sees every quiet tear that falls when no one else is near, and He understands every hidden burden that the world never notices. When life becomes heavy and the road ahead looks uncertain, the loving presence of Jesus begins to move closer in ways that the human eye cannot see. In those quiet moments, the heart begins to sense that it has not been forgotten, and a calm reassurance slowly replaces the fear that once felt overwhelming. This gentle reminder is appearing before you at a time when your spirit may have been longing for hope, comfort, and the simple assurance that God is still guiding every step of your journey. Many people scroll through countless things every day, yet very few stop at the exact moment when heaven intends to place a blessing before them. There is a quiet significance in the way your attention has paused here today, and that pause may be the beginning of something peaceful unfolding within your life. If this moment already feels special within your heart, gently support this video with a like, so that its quiet encouragement can continue reaching hearts that are silently waiting for comfort. God works through the smallest moments, often choosing simple words to bring peace into lives that feel overwhelmed by worry or confusion. The presence of Jesus has never been distant from those who seek Him with sincerity, and His love flows quietly through every situation where hope begins to feel fragile. When someone carries faith within their heart, even during seasons of uncertainty, heaven begins to prepare blessings that arrive in the most unexpected and beautiful ways. Some people believe that miracles always appear in dramatic and obvious forms, yet many of God's greatest works arrive softly through peace, healing, and renewed strength within the heart. A person may not always notice when their life begins to change for the better, but the quiet guidance of the Lord slowly transforms the path ahead. Darkness begins to fade when even the smallest light of faith is allowed to remain alive within the soul. Type 2424 if you trust in God. There are chosen moments in life when God allows a message of comfort to reach someone who has been quietly carrying more than they should. These moments are not random, and they do not appear without purpose or meaning. Heaven watches every step of the journey, and the loving presence of Jesus often arrives during the times when encouragement is needed the most. Perhaps your heart has been searching for a sign that things will become better, or that the struggles surrounding you will not last forever. The love of God has always been stronger than the worries that weigh upon the human heart, and His presence brings a calm reassurance that brighter days are already being prepared. When faith remains alive, even in small ways, the Lord gently opens doors that no difficulty can permanently close. The message unfolding here is not meant for crowds seeking quick inspiration or momentary excitement. It carries the quiet feeling of something personal, something meant to comfort one heart that has been walking through a season of patience and silent endurance. God knows the story that lives inside your life, and He understands every chapter that has shaped your journey until now. Sometimes, The soul becomes tired from carrying hope through long seasons of waiting, yet God never overlooks the strength of a faithful heart. The Lord Jesus Christ walks beside those who continue trusting, even when the road ahead appears uncertain. His presence brings peace that does not depend on circumstances, and His love continues flowing even during moments when faith feels fragile. This gentle encounter is not an accident, and the peace forming within your heart right now is part of a deeper reassurance that God's care has never left your side. The journey may have felt lonely at times, yet heaven has been quietly guiding every step toward a future that holds restoration, healing, and renewed joy. God often chooses moments like this to remind a chosen heart that they are still deeply loved and carefully watched over. Even when the world becomes loud and distracting, the voice of Jesus continues speaking softly through peace, comfort, and quiet assurance. Those who listen with an open heart begin to sense that their story is not finished, and that God is still working in ways that will soon become beautifully clear. The love of Christ carries a warmth that reaches deeper than human understanding, touching places within the soul that words alone cannot fully describe. When someone feels forgotten or overlooked, the presence of Jesus gently restores hope and reminds them that they are never alone. This sacred reassurance has the power to calm the restless heart and replace fear with a quiet confidence in God's perfect timing. Even when life feels uncertain, the loving hand of God continues guiding those who walk with faith. The path ahead may not always be visible, yet the peace within the heart becomes stronger when trust remains alive. Jesus leads His people with kindness and patience, allowing their spirits to grow stronger through every season they endure. What if wealth was never about chance, but about a hidden brain signal that stayed buried in classified records? This powerful frequency is now opening doors, attracting fresh opportunities, and transforming lives quickly. Thousands are already using it to bring prosperity into their lives in ways they never imagined possible. Click the link in the description and comments now, and turn on the money-attracting brainwave today. The moment you are experiencing right now carries a peaceful reminder that heaven still cares deeply about your life and your future. What feels like an ordinary moment may actually be a quiet turning point where faith begins to rise again within your heart. God understands every detail of your story, and His plans for your life are filled with hope that has not yet fully revealed itself. The message unfolding here is a gentle promise that the love of Jesus continues surrounding you even when the world becomes difficult to understand. His presence offers peace to the weary heart and strength to those who continue walking forward despite uncertainty. In that sacred presence, the soul finds comfort that cannot be taken away by circumstances or passing troubles. A quiet peace continues to unfold in the heart that chooses to listen with patience, and that peace carries a gentle reminder that the love of Jesus never disappears, even during the most confusing seasons of life. Many souls walk through days filled with noise, responsibility, and silent worries, yet the presence of God continues moving softly through the unseen spaces of the heart. When someone begins to sense that presence again, a warmth slowly rises inside them that feels both calming and deeply reassuring. The Lord often speaks through moments that feel simple and quiet, yet those moments carry powerful comfort for the soul that has been waiting for relief. Life sometimes places heavy burdens upon gentle hearts, and those burdens can make the future appear distant or uncertain. Still, the loving eyes of Jesus remain fixed upon every step taken by those who continue to walk with faith. Nothing that happens in the life of a faithful soul escapes His attention, and no tear is ever wasted in the sight of heaven. When a heart continues trusting God even while facing uncertainty, something beautiful begins to grow within that spirit. Faith becomes stronger, patience becomes deeper, and the quiet confidence that God is guiding every step begins to replace fear. The journey may not always feel easy, yet the gentle presence of Christ walks beside the faithful with compassion and understanding that never fades. There are seasons when a person feels unseen by the world around them, and those seasons can bring moments of loneliness that are difficult to explain. During those quiet struggles, God continues to draw closer to the heart that keeps believing in His goodness. His love moves like a calm river flowing through the soul, bringing healing where wounds once lived and peace where confusion once grew. Many people search endlessly for reassurance that their life carries meaning, yet true comfort often arrives through the quiet assurance that God has never abandoned them. The story of every chosen heart is known deeply by the Lord, and each chapter of that story carries purpose even when it feels hidden. When someone walks forward with faith, heaven gently begins arranging moments of restoration that will eventually become clear. Type 1212 if you walk by faith. There is something powerful about a heart that refuses to lose hope, even when circumstances appear discouraging or overwhelming. The strength of faith does not come from human effort alone, but from the quiet presence of Jesus, renewing the spirit day by day. When someone continues trusting God during difficult seasons, their heart becomes a place where divine comfort begins to grow. The love of Christ has always been a shelter for those who feel weary, and His presence brings a calm that the world cannot imitate. When a person allows their heart to rest within that love, even the most troubling days begin to lose their power over the soul. Peace begins to replace anxiety, and the future slowly appears brighter than it once seemed. God often allows people to walk through seasons that shape their strength and deepen their understanding of faith. Those seasons may feel long while they are happening, yet they are never without purpose or meaning. Each quiet step taken during those times is noticed by heaven, and every moment of patience becomes part of a greater story unfolding. The heart that continues trusting in Jesus during uncertainty begins to experience a transformation that is gentle yet powerful. Fear slowly fades, replaced by a growing sense of calm confidence that God is guiding every step forward. The soul begins to understand that the road it is walking is not random, but carefully watched over by the loving presence of the Lord. Sometimes, blessings arrive in ways that are quiet and unexpected, appearing when a person has nearly forgotten what hope feels like. Those moments carry the unmistakable warmth of divine kindness, reminding the heart that God never forgets those who continue believing in His goodness. The love of Jesus moves patiently through the life of every faithful soul, bringing healing where pain once lived. There is a sacred beauty in the way God restores weary hearts. The process may happen slowly, yet each small moment of peace becomes a step toward greater strength and clarity. A person who once felt lost begins to sense direction again, and the quiet assurance of God's presence fills spaces where fear once lived. The journey of faith is never meant to be walked alone, even when it feels lonely for a season. Jesus walks beside those who trust Him, guiding them through valleys and leading them toward places of renewal. His love surrounds the soul like gentle light, bringing warmth and calm into moments that once felt uncertain. The heart that listens carefully begins to recognize the soft voice of God guiding it forward. That voice does not shout or force itself upon anyone, yet it carries a deep peace that settles within the spirit. When someone follows that quiet guidance, their life slowly begins to change in ways that bring hope and renewed joy. There are people whose lives carry a hidden strength that the world may never fully understand. These souls continue believing even after disappointment, continue hoping even after long seasons of waiting, and continue trusting that God is still working behind the scenes. Heaven watches such faith with compassion and love, preparing blessings that will arrive in perfect timing. The love of Jesus does not fade when circumstances become difficult. Instead, His presence becomes even closer to those who remain faithful through trials and uncertainty. The heart that leans upon Him finds peace that grows stronger with each passing day. Inside your mind is a small region connected to achievement and abundance, once concealed within restricted research and classified documents. This newly disclosed frequency is helping people replace financial pressure with calm and balance, and God has guided you to encounter this at just the right time. Click the link in the description and comments to activate this hidden brainwave now. Sometimes the greatest miracles begin quietly within the heart before they ever appear in visible ways. A renewed sense of hope can become the first sign that God is already working within a person's life. That hope begins to strengthen the spirit, reminding the soul that brighter days are already approaching. The presence of God is not distant or unreachable. It moves through everyday moments, through quiet reflections, and through the simple act of trusting Him when the future feels unclear. Those who open their hearts to that presence begin to experience a deep comfort that cannot be shaken by circumstances. Type yes to affirm. There is a quiet promise carried within the love of Christ that reminds every faithful heart that their story is still unfolding. No season of waiting is meaningless, and no moment of faith goes unnoticed by heaven. The road ahead may still hold challenges, yet it also carries blessings that will arrive when the time is right. The soul that continues walking with Jesus discovers that peace does not depend on perfect circumstances. Instead, it grows from the assurance that God's love remains steady and unchanging. When that truth becomes clear within the heart, fear begins to lose its power. The journey of a chosen heart often includes moments where faith becomes the only light guiding the path forward. Those moments may feel quiet and hidden, yet they are deeply precious in the sight of God. Every step taken with trust becomes part of a beautiful story that heaven is carefully shaping. The presence of Christ brings healing where wounds once lingered, restoring strength to spirits that once felt tired. His love reminds the heart that no season lasts forever, and that every night eventually gives way to a new morning. When someone continues believing in that promise, their life begins to move toward a future filled with greater peace. God's plans often unfold slowly so that the heart can grow stronger along the journey. Each lesson learned during seasons of waiting becomes a foundation for the blessings that will follow. When the time of restoration arrives, the soul recognizes that every moment of patience had a purpose. Many faithful hearts have walked through valleys where hope felt distant and the future appeared uncertain. The road sometimes stretches longer than expected, and patience becomes the quiet companion of those who continue trusting in Jesus. Even when the path seems empty and quiet, heaven remains attentive to every step taken with faith. The love of Christ surrounds those moments with a calm reassurance that the story of the faithful heart is never abandoned or forgotten. The Lord understands the silent battles that are carried deep inside the soul, and He watches with compassion as His children continue moving forward despite the weight of their struggles. There are days when strength seems small and the future feels fragile, yet those are often the very moments when divine grace is quietly strengthening the heart. God does not measure a person's faith by loud declarations or visible achievements, but by the quiet endurance that continues trusting Him when circumstances become difficult. When someone remains faithful during uncertain seasons, their spirit begins to grow in ways that the world rarely notices. patience becomes deeper, compassion becomes stronger, and the heart begins to recognize the gentle presence of Jesus in places where it once felt alone. This quiet transformation becomes one of the most beautiful works of God, shaping the soul into something resilient and peaceful. Sometimes a person does not immediately recognize how much God has already been protecting them throughout their life. There were moments when danger quietly passed by, moments when unexpected help arrived at just the right time, and moments when strength appeared even though the heart felt exhausted. These small but meaningful moments often reveal how carefully the Lord watches over those who place their trust in Him. The love of Jesus carries a calm warmth that settles deep within the spirit, replacing anxiety with a sense of quiet security. When someone allows that love to guide their heart, they begin to realize that they are never truly walking alone. Even during times when the world feels distant or confusing, the presence of Christ remains steady and compassionate. Type 1919 to receive miracles. There is something powerful about a soul that continues believing even after experiencing disappointment. Faith that survives difficult seasons becomes stronger and more meaningful than faith that has never been tested. God often uses these seasons to prepare the heart for blessings that will arrive later with greater beauty and purpose. The journey of a chosen heart is rarely simple or predictable. It often includes long periods of waiting, moments of reflection, and quiet lessons that shape the spirit in ways that cannot be rushed. While these seasons may appear slow from the outside, they are filled with divine preparation that slowly transforms the future. Jesus understands the silent hopes that live inside the heart, and He carries those hopes with care and compassion. Even when someone feels unnoticed by the world around them, heaven continues watching with love and patience. Every sincere prayer, every moment of trust, and every quiet act of kindness is remembered by the Lord. There are people whose faith continues shining even during dark seasons, and that quiet light becomes a powerful testimony of God's presence. These hearts may not always feel strong, yet their willingness to keep trusting God becomes a source of strength that grows deeper each day. Through them, the love of Christ continues, reaching the world in gentle and meaningful ways. The path of faith sometimes requires walking forward without seeing the full picture ahead. During those moments, the heart learns to rely on God's wisdom rather than human understanding. When someone chooses trust over fear, a peaceful confidence slowly begins to grow within the soul. God never rushes the story He is writing within a person's life. Every chapter unfolds in the right moment, shaped by patience and guided by divine love. Even when the journey feels slow or uncertain, the Lord is quietly arranging events that will eventually reveal His perfect timing. The presence of Christ brings comfort that reaches deeper than ordinary encouragement. His love touches the hidden places of the heart, where worry and sadness once lived, gently replacing those burdens with peace. When someone allows that peace to remain within them, their spirit begins to feel renewed and strengthened. A little-known 7-second morning habit that was once confined to CIA documents is now resurfacing in public view, and people are already noticing rapid financial improvements. It only takes a few seconds to do, yet it activates a dormant wealth center in the brain that most individuals never tap into. Click the link in the description and comments now to see it before it disappears. Sometimes a person may look back and realize that the most difficult seasons were actually preparing them for something greater. Those seasons built resilience, compassion, and a deeper understanding of God's faithfulness. What once felt like a delay begins to appear as a necessary step toward a more meaningful future. The soul that continues walking with Jesus begins to discover that every experience holds value within God's plan. Moments of joy bring gratitude, while moments of struggle bring wisdom and deeper faith. Together, these experiences shape a life that carries quiet strength and purpose. God often chooses the most unexpected ways to reveal His goodness. A simple moment of peace, an encouraging word, or a sudden feeling of hope can become the beginning of something beautiful. These small reminders allow the heart to recognize that heaven is always working behind the scenes. Type 2323 if you agree. When faith remains alive within the soul, it becomes a steady light that continues guiding the path forward. That light may appear small during difficult days, yet it never truly disappears. The presence of Jesus protects that light, nurturing it so that it continues shining even during uncertain seasons. The love of Christ invites every weary heart to rest within His compassion. He understands the weight of life's struggles and offers comfort that renews the spirit. Those who lean upon Him begin to feel a quiet strength rising within them that was not there before. Sometimes, the greatest transformation begins within the heart, long before it becomes visible in the outside world. A person may start feeling calmer, more hopeful, and more patient, even though their circumstances have not fully changed yet. This quiet shift is often the first sign that God is already working within their life. The Lord does not forget the faithful heart that continues trusting Him during seasons of waiting. He sees every act of kindness, every silent prayer, and every moment when faith chooses hope over fear. These moments become part of a beautiful story that heaven carefully remembers. There are blessings that arrive suddenly after long seasons of preparation, and when they come, they carry a sense of divine timing that cannot be mistaken. The heart recognizes that the waiting was not wasted, and the journey begins to make sense in a deeper way. God's plans always unfold with wisdom that reaches beyond human understanding. The presence of Jesus continues guiding the faithful toward days filled with healing, peace, and renewed purpose. Even when the future cannot be fully seen, the soul learns to walk forward with calm confidence. Faith becomes the bridge that connects the present moment with the beautiful promises that God has already prepared. Every chosen heart carries a story that heaven values deeply, a story filled with quiet strength and sincere devotion. The world may not always recognize that story, yet God sees every detail with loving attention. His care remains constant, gently leading the faithful toward a future shaped by hope and grace. The journey of a faithful heart often continues quietly, shaped by moments that the world rarely celebrates but heaven always notices with deep love and attention. When a person keeps walking with trust even after facing disappointments and delays, their spirit begins to develop a strength that cannot easily be shaken by fear or uncertainty. The presence of Jesus remains close to those who continue believing, gently guiding them through every quiet step that leads toward healing and renewed hope. There are times when life becomes overwhelming and the heart carries more weight than words can easily express. During those moments, the loving presence of God surrounds the soul with comfort that does not depend on circumstances or human understanding. This divine peace slowly settles within the spirit, reminding the faithful heart that it is never truly alone on its journey. The love of Christ reaches the deepest corners of the soul, where worry and sadness often try to settle. His compassion brings a gentle light that begins to soften the darkness created by doubt and disappointment. When a person chooses to remain close to Him, even during difficult seasons, that light begins to grow stronger within their life. Many faithful souls have walked through seasons where their patience felt stretched and their prayers seemed to wait quietly for answers. These seasons often feel long and quiet, yet they are filled with unseen preparation that shapes the future in beautiful ways. God is never absent during these times, and his guidance continues moving gently behind every moment. The heart that trusts in Jesus learns that waiting does not mean being forgotten, and silence does not mean being abandoned. Instead, these moments often become the foundation where faith grows deeper and stronger than before. Each quiet day of trust becomes a step closer to the blessings that God has already prepared. Type 2020 to claim miracles. When someone continues walking with faith during uncertainty, something remarkable begins to happen inside their heart. Fear slowly loses its grip, and a calm confidence begins to replace the restless worry that once lived there. The soul begins to sense that God is still writing a beautiful story, even if the next chapter has not yet been revealed. Jesus has always been close to those who remain sincere in their faith. His presence does not fade when circumstances become difficult or when answers take time to appear. Instead, his love often becomes even more powerful during those seasons, quietly strengthening the heart and renewing the spirit. There is a peaceful reassurance that begins to grow when a person truly believes that God is guiding every step of their life. This reassurance brings calm even during uncertain days, allowing the soul to move forward with patience rather than fear. The faithful heart begins to understand that the journey is not random, but carefully guided by divine wisdom. Many people search endlessly for signs that their life carries purpose and direction, yet the deepest assurance often arrives through the quiet awareness that God is present within every moment. His love becomes a steady anchor that holds the heart firm even when the world feels uncertain. The path of faith does not promise a life without challenges, yet it offers something far greater than temporary comfort. It offers the lasting peace that comes from knowing that Jesus walks beside those who trust him. This peace remains steady, even during seasons when circumstances seem difficult to understand. A newly revealed 7-second brainwave method, backed by neuroscience and once hidden in classified documents, is helping thousands activate their brain's wealth setting. People refer to it as the money magnet sound because of how quickly it appears to attract abundance. Click the link in the description and comments below to awaken the prosperity already within you. Sometimes a person may look back at earlier seasons of their life and suddenly recognize how God was guiding them all along. Moments that once seemed confusing begin to reveal hidden meaning and quiet protection. What once appeared as delay begins to look like divine preparation for something better. The soul that remains close to Christ slowly begins to experience a transformation that reaches every part of life. Compassion grows stronger, patience becomes deeper, and the heart begins to carry a calm wisdom shaped by faith.